find your lack of faith disturbing.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. What up? Hi guys, it's Mike. It's cross-examinations time. Once again, I am outside sitting on my relatively comfy chair. What's up, Doc? Admiral March here. Bright and early. Look at me. 3 days in a row, cross-examinations. I'm doing it. Yay! Although I do have work to do today, so, heavy. What? Oh, sorry. I get messenger stuff on my iPad. I do this on my iPad when I'm outside, and, I get stuff. Why do I only have 61% on my iPad? I charge it all night long. Volume. Audio. iPad, microphone. Hello? Test. Mic volume. Test. Test. Why is it not working? Oh, man. What the heck? Echo cancellation? Mic volume? Is that any better? Is it working at all? Still low. Stop cam? Start cam? Cam mic. Front camera. Back camera. Front camera. Audio. I don't know what's going on. Well, that seems to be working better. What the heck? Alright, I don't know what I did, but I think that's better. There we go. Good afternoon, etc. 3 days in a row, cross-examinations. Maybe this whole COVID thing was good for me. Drinking my iced tea. There we go. What's up, Dark Admiral March Hare, Jeff Potts, R2D2 for life. Best intro monologue Mike has done. Thank you so much. What's going on in the wild, wild world of sports out there today? I really don't know. I wasted some time reading some stuff on. Well, I guess it's not wasting time. We're having a little discussion on the Discord about crowdfunding. You know, my friend Aaron Lopresti versus my sort of internet friend Carrie Nord. They both launched their campaigns within a few days of each other. They started out the gate right about neck and neck. I think Carrie edged out Aaron's first 24 hours, but Aaron on Backer Tracker is tracking to do almost twice what Carrie's doing. So it's going to be a very interesting horse race because he hasn't done any YouTube or anything like that. It's just Facebook and Instagram. And he what's he at, $38,000 now? And again, he just launched on Monday, and it's Wednesday. So caution, caffeine is the gateway drug. Thank you, Tarzan, for your concern. I kind of want to look it up now. All right, let me. I want to see where he is. Where he is currently. There we go. He is currently at. Come on. Why is not giving me information? Stupid the Kickstarter. Give me information. Almost $39,000. Where's when did Aaron launch? Aaron launched on, was it Saturday? Friday? Saturday? Thursday? I can't even remember. But Aaron's a few days ahead, and he is at blah 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 blah. Let me look it up. I should have this already looked up since we were discussing it. Wraith, and we're doing Wraith of God tonight. on Drawn and Quartered. So please do come on by. He's at 56,000, almost $57,000. Right on, Aaron. So that's sort of that's the horse race, man. I'm really interested because Aaron's doing the whole YouTube thing. He's doing the whole going on Ethan's channel and promoting there and all that stuff. And like I said, he's tracking to do double what Carrie's doing. But Carrie, totally, absolutely, 100% different marketing strategy. So it's very, very interesting. He launched 5 days ago, and Carrie launched 3 days ago. Well, technically 2 days ago. It's been about 48 hours. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, so I'm so curious how this is going to end up. Although, here's the thing with Indiegogo versus Kickstarter. Kickstarter, you only have a limited time. Aaron will do his 60 days, and then he will leave it in demand until he fulfills the project. So, long term, definitely, Carrie's going to, or Aaron's going to, do much better, I believe. But again, the interesting horse race of two completely different marketing systems, marketing styles, whatever it is, however you want to say it. There's more than one way to skin a crowdfunding campaign, I guess. Hi. Hi, Tarzan. A little wave. Good afternoon, Arlene. Welcome. What's up, Oregon? Oregon, 87. I think Friday. So that's kind of what we've been discussing over on the Discord. As you guys know, I'm a comic book artist, and crowdfunding has been my bread and butter for 3 years now. Conventions are coming back. I could go back to conventions. I made a lot of money at conventions, but so much work. It's a lot of work. Conventions are a lot of work. Although you do get to actually meet the fans, and that's the one thing I do miss. I miss pressing the flesh, shaking the hands of the fans. Getting to actually meet people that way. It's good. It's good. But boy, lugging stuff across the country, and then I don't want to deal with all the masks and these conventions that say you can't come in without a vaccination and all this madness. Oh, the madness. You probably killed it with commissions. Actually, I killed it with print sales. My prints, dude. Selling prints. I did the wall of prints thing, and I tried to make sure I had something for everybody. And then I priced my commissions to the point where I was trying not to get commissions. But then when I'd go to a show like New York or Dragon, there's certain shows where it's like it doesn't matter how high you set your commissions list, you're gonna get a bunch of commissions anyways, which is, it's great extra money. But I'd rather sell somebody $50 worth of prints than do a $50 commission. You know what I mean? It's just easier money. It's printing money. And so, but now I have comic books too. So I could have prints, commissions, and Lone Star, and MAGA 7, and Six Gun Sam. Oh my gosh, I have so many comics I could sell. If I go to, I don't know if I should do it. Oh, it's actually, I like being at cons. I like meeting the people. I like hanging out afterwards. The only thing I don't like is the travel. I just don't like the airports. Call me crazy. And the setting up is, that's a lot of, could help push your books. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's what I'm talking about with like Brian Polito. Brian doesn't do YouTube that I've ever noticed, right? I saw him once on Billy Tucci's channel. But he's out there at every convention pressing the flesh. and promoting his campaigns, right? His current campaign is tracking to do over $600,000. That's, dude, that's, I mean, if you're willing to put the work in, that's the business model that, that you can do. And Brian doesn't, Brian's never said a bad thing about anybody that I know of. Mike, this all assumes that a bunch of fanatics won't cause issues at your booth. I've never had that. I've never had that. Let me think. Have I ever had, like, well, yeah, I grant you the fanatics you're talking about are worse than the SJWs that may have caused me problems before. It was Renfamous got me canceled from a show one time. But Brian has a YouTube channel, Coffin Comics TV. Oh, okay. How's it do? Let's check it out. Coffin Comics TV. That's good. I mean, that's smart of him. That seems like him. Like, leave no stone unturned. Coffin Comics TV. He's only got 2.88 thousand subscribers. Ba, ba, ba. But wow, he does actual. He gets views. Although, wait, the heck? What? How many? Let me see. Well, he really doesn't get that many views. He's like 188 views, 298 views, 102. I mean, more views than I get. But now he's just. That's good. Leave no stone unturned. See, and that's like him, right? Hardest. I think he's the hardest working man in comics, frankly. And someone was saying, "Oh, you shouldn't promote Lady Death." I'm like, I'm not promoting Lady Death. I'm saying this dude is doing freaking the work. It wouldn't matter if it was Lady Death or if he made some patriotic superheroine or something, right? It's not just. There's plenty of cheesecake comic books out there. It's dude works, man. Dude works. He is up early at every con, just set up, ready to go. I've watched this guy at conventions over the years. He is a hustler. It's mostly for sales and coffin cauldrons giveaways. Yeah. So, anyways, his business model is obviously succeeding. He started out. I think his first crowdfunding campaign started out at around $60,000 or $70,000 with less than 1,000 backers. He's well over 3,000 backers regular now. Every campaign is growing, and it's not growing through YouTube. It's growing. I'm telling you, because he does conventions. Gosh, I'm talking myself into doing conventions. I don't want to do conventions again. But that's the hard work. That's pressing the flesh, meeting the fans, making personal connections with people, right? And lo and behold, this combination of crowdfunding and conventions has, current Lady Death Kickstarter is at 410. It's tracking to do over 600,000. And that's through hard work. That is through being a good guy, going to conventions, meeting people. it's I don't know, man. Again, it depends on what I'm going to end up doing because, I'm working. Okay, I keep saying that I'm done with this NFT project, but now I have to do the landing page for the NFT site, the website. But it depends on how this sort of stuff does because if this project I'm working on right now is just crazy lucrative, I'm not going to turn away from comics. I'm not. I love comics. You guys know I love comics. That's my thing. But if you strike while the iron's hot, right? So if this NFT project does really well, the BitBoy guys have a bunch of other NFT stuff lined up, and I might just have to work on the comic stuff on the side, while I'm doing something that could ultimately, fund the production of my comics long term. So we'll see. Um, I'm never going to walk away from comics completely because I just love comics. And if we can do comics as NFTs and that actually makes more sense than crowdfunding or whatever, and then I could do the print comics as like a secondary market or something. I don't know. I don't know. What I'm not going to do is go back to a dog going back to its vomit, is what the Bible refers to it. But I don't like going backwards. I want to move constantly forward. I want to find new ways to, like I said, skin that fish. Got to support your family, Mike. Understandable to me always. Of course, of course. Don't leave us, Mike. We won't become finance nerds just to stay friends with you. Just kidding. You don't have to be a finance nerd. Can you at least talk them into doing a printed copy of BitBoy after the NFT? That I'm sure at some point there will be a print copy or a printed, you know, version of the BitBoy comic available. I just finished lettering it a couple days ago. Was that yesterday? No, that was a couple days ago. Um, yeah, I really want to share it with people, but I can't. Hi, Lady Celtic Moon. Wait, I thought you were. No, that was Arlene. What's up, lady? I prefer physical media to digital. I do too. I do too. I'm just not interested in pretending like that's the future. I'm an old fogey. I like my comic books in my hands. I like my cards. I like my prints. I like the thing. Things on the internet to me are just things on the internet. However, I see how I have many children. I have many children, and my children have friends, and I see how the younger generation deals with the digital versus the physical. It's they spend more time in the digital realm than they do in the physical realm, right? How many kids out there are reading books? I wish more would, but my even Isaac's been just reading webtoon. I've got a ton of graphic novels he could be reading. He's on webtoons, right? So much of this stuff, it's like it doesn't matter how transient it is to them, but like they're on Roblox. They're on Roblox. They're on um, Team Fortress. They're on these different video games that have items that they can buy and sell, and they're like, "Hey, I sold that thing for $1.33," and I'm like for real money. You're buying and selling stuff in these video games for real money, right? And that's just the future. That's the world that the next generations are growing up in. So to be like, oh, I don't want to invest my time into things that are just digital and blah blah blah. It's very backward thinking, and I understand that because I'm a backward thinker. But it's you gotta roll with the times, man. You gotta roll with the future. And NFTs, sorry, I'm distracted because there's a butterfly down there. Oh, two butterflies. Nice. Um, NFTs is going to be a permanent marketplace uh, after this next evolution of the internet and the finance. That's what the whole crypto market is. Basically, it's the financial internet, right? It's going to be it's it's already had so much adoption. If you haven't been paying attention, then you don't understand. But if anyone has been paying attention, they understand crypto assets, NFTs, Ethereum, all of this stuff. This is the future of it's the internet of finance. Don't sell yourself short, Mike. You're a very backward thinker. I do not like digital books, therefore I have quite a few books in black and white on copy paper and stuck in 3-ring binder so I can read paper copies. Interesting. Great, so now I'm going to have to yell at kids to get off my digital lawn now. There you go. I'm going to bring back the Luddite movement. Aaron Roscoe says, I still prefer DVD Blu-ray over digital movies, but I'm definitely in the minority for my generation. Same for all media. I get it. I get it, but it's just it becomes convenience, you know? It becomes convenience at this point where you're just flipping through Netflix or you're flipping through, you know, Amazon looking for something to watch instead of like going to your DVD collection. Honest question though, the future also seemingly includes only politically correct approved entertainment. So won't old-fashioned folks like us just stick with old-fashioned mediums? I don't know about that because it seems like the more, and that's another thing with the decentralized marketplace, i.e., cryptocurrency, crypto assets. The whole crypto ecosystem is based around decentralization, and so if you have decentralization, then you can have politically incorrect stuff that nobody can shut down. If I have some politically incorrect thing and I upload it to the library blockchain, it's there until I delete it. Nobody can take it down. Now, Odyssey can come in because they are more centralized and they can say, okay, you're not going to be able to have this up on Odyssey. But that doesn't mean that I can't get people to access it if they want to see it. So, yeah, I think it's going to empower politically incorrect people, politically incorrect creators through the decentralization of media. And I think that's a fantastic thing for people like you and me. So, how dare you suggest we get a digital fiat currency to replace another digital fiat currency? Right? Exactly. And for those who don't know, if you're a fan of mine at all, you know, the US dollar is a digital currency. Only 3% of all US dollars are currently in paper or penny form. And sorry, but that does not make it a non-digital currency. That's not even a tip. 3%. 97% of all US dollars are completely 100% digital and exist nowhere but on computer ledgers in in some financial, you know, system that I couldn't even. I guess you can understand it. You can double spend it. All the problems with that digital currency are solved with like Ether and Bitcoin and stuff. It's all ones and zeros on computers. Exactly. Exactly. Silver and gold is God's money. Also, the only legal currency according to the Constitution. Yes. Yes. But I live in reality. Silver and gold. Silver and gold is great. And when you know what, when we hit the peak of this market, probably around winter time, I'm going to cash out probably around 80%. Well, not cash out. I'm gonna move my digital. I'm gonna move my investments into stable coins for the most part. Probably about 80%, and then I am gonna buy some silver and gold. I'll be honest with you during the bear market, hoping the silver and gold does better than the dollar, and then when the bear market bottoms out, move back into cryptocurrency. So, or crypto assets, as it were. I'm gonna have to take a pause again. I hope you guys don't mind, but I've had too much tea. Ooh, it is quite warm out here. Volume, Mike. Yeah, no. There's no talking. I explained. I don't know why he doesn't just pee off the deck. What's wrong with you? The blue orb of privacy. Mm-mm-mm. He doesn't want us to hear that he doesn't wash his hands. Hey, come on, I ain't no Doug Tenable. Um, da. Why do I have a wrench? Would you rather not have a wrench, Andrew? I can make that happen. All right. So, that's all good, right? All right, let's get to the scripture. Let's mosey on over to the Bible and see what God has to say. Hey, reading 2 Samuel 18 today, which means we're going back to the big blue ball. Gosh, my hair looks all janky. I just took a shower and I haven't brushed my hair yet. All right, stopping the camera. We're going to big blue ball Bible time. And David numbered the people that were with him and set captains of thousands and captains of hundreds over them. And David set forth a third part of the people under the hand of Joab, and a third part under the hand of Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, Joab's brother, and a third part under the hand of Ittai, the Gittite. Ittai! In Japanese, Ittai just means ouch. So, Ittai, the Gittite. I guess he got hurt a lot. And the king said unto the people, I will surely go forth with you myself also. But the people answered, Thou shalt not go forth. For if we flee away, they will not care for us, neither if half of us die will they care for us. But now thou art worth 10,000 of us. Therefore now it is better that thou succor us out of the city. And the king said unto them, What seemeth you best, I will do. And the king stood by the gate side, and all the people came out by hundreds and by thousands. And the king commanded Joab and Abishai the Ittai, saying, Deal gently for my sake with the young man, even with Absalom. And all the people heard when the king gave all the captains charge concerning Absalom. I mean, it's his son, right? It's his son. Call it Big Blue Ball Comics. What? Big blue ball, the big blue ball. We're all living on the big blue ball. All right. So the people went out into the field against Israel, and the battle was in the wood of Ephraim. And the people of Israel were slain before the servants of David. And there was a great slaughter that day of 20,000 men. For the battle was there scattered over the face of all the country, and the wood devoured more people that day than the sword devoured. Ooh, that's interesting. Shoot. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Sorry, I flicked my phone and my Bible went somewhere. All right. And Absalom met the servants of David, and Absalom rode upon a mule. He should have had a horse. See, Absalom? That's your problem. Didn't have a horse. And the great mule went under a thick bough of a great oak, and his head got caught hold of the oak, and he was taken up between the heaven and the earth, and the mule that was under him went away. And a certain man saw it, and told Joab, and said, Behold, I saw Absalom hanged in an oak. And Joab said unto the man that told him, And behold, thou sawest him, and why didst thou not smite him there to the ground? And I would have given thee 10 shekels of silver and a girdle. Woo! A girdle. How can you refuse? And the man said unto Joab, Though I should receive 1,000 shekels of silver in mine hand, yet would I not put forth mine hand against the king's son, for in our hearing the king charged thee and Abishai and Ittai, saying, Beware that none touch the young man Absalom. Otherwise I should have wrought falsehood against mine own life, for there is no matter hid from the king, and thou thyself would have set thyself against me. This guy knows Joab. Joab's a nasty piece of work, man. Joab causes so many problems. I'm surprised more people don't talk about what a I don't know if I want to say worm tongue, but boy, Joab is just the crap stirrer in David's kingdom, from the get go. Then said Joab, I may not tarry thus with thee. And he took 3 darts in his hand, and thrust them through the heart of Absalom, while he was yet alive in the midst of the oak. And 10 young men that bare Joab's armor compassed him about, and smote Absalom, and slew him. Well, come on, I think the 3 darts in the heart slew him. And Joab blew the trumpet, and the people returned from pursuing after Israel, for Joab held back the people. And they took Absalom, and cast him into a great pit in the wood, and laid a very great heap of stones upon him. And all Israel fled, every one to his tent. Now Absalom, in his lifetime, had taken and reared up for himself a pillar, which is in the king's dale, for he said, I have no son to keep my name in remembrance. And he called the pillar after his own name, and it is called unto this day Absalom's place. Then said Ahimaaz, the son of Zadok, Let me now run and bear the king's tidings, how the Lord hath avenged him of his enemies. And Joab said unto him, Thou shalt not bear tidings this day, but thou shalt bear tidings another day. But this day thou shalt bear no tidings, because the king's son is dead. Joab, you killed him, jerk. Then said Joab to Cushai, Go, tell the king what thou hast seen. What a double-minded... this guy. Don't be a Joab, people. Don't be a Joab. And Cushai bowed himself unto Joab and ran. Then said Ahimaaz the son of Zadok yet again to Joab, But howsoever, let me, I pray thee, also run after Cushai. And Joab said, Wherefore wilt thou run, my son, seeing that thou hast no tidings ready? But howsoever, he said, Let me run. And he said unto him, Run. Then Ahimaaz ran by the way of the plain and overran Cushai, and David sat between the two gates. And the watchman went up to the roof over the gate unto the wall, and lifted up his eyes, and looked, and behold, a man running alone. And the watchman cried and told the king, and the king said, If he be alone, there is tidings in his mouth. And he came apace and drew near. And the watchman saw another man running. And the watchman called unto the porter and said, Behold, another man running alone. And the king said, He also bringeth tidings. And the watchman said, Methinketh the running of the foremost is like the running of Ahimaaz, the son of Zadok. He must have had a very interesting and unique running gait. Joab is indeed a bad, bad guy. When I have a son, I will call him Josiah. That's my son's name, Andrew. Copycat. Andrew also says, when I have a son, I'm going to name him Jeroboam. Alrighty. Josiah was the last faithful king of Judah. That's correct. That is correct. Oh, hi, Blue Ball. Oh, hi, Joe K. And the watchman said, Oh, yeah. And the king said, He is a good man, and cometh with good tidings. And Ahimaaz called and said unto the king, All is well. And he fell down to the earth upon his face before the king, and said, Blessed be the Lord thy God, which hath delivered up the men that lifted up their hand against the Lord the king. And the king said, Is the young man Absalom safe? And Ahimaaz answered, When Joab sent the king's servant, and me, thy servant, I saw a great tumult, but I knew not what it was. This is a smart guy, not an idiot. And the king said unto him, Turn aside and stand there. And he turned aside and stood still. And behold, Cushai came. And Cushai said, Tidings, my lord king, for the Lord hath avenged thee this day of all them that rose up against thee. And the king said to Cushai, Is the young man Absalom safe? And Cushai, the idiot, answered, Sorry, I interjected the idiot. The enemies of my lord the king, and all that rise against thee, do thee hurt be as that young man is. And the king was much moved, and went into the chamber over the gate, and wept. And as he went, thus he said, O my son Absalom, my son Absalom, would God I had died for thee, O Absalom, my son, my son. And that is the end of chapter 18. And I get it. Oh, Joab's a prick. I mean, come on. You killed the king's son. Oh, by the way, that we'll see what happens to this guy in the next chapter. Hello, Andrew. Hello, everyone, he says. I mistyped with Jeroboam. Oh, that's quite a mistyping, Andrew. That's quite the mistype, I must say. The other day I was listening to Exodus, and man, I was in tears listening to the story of when Joseph is dealing with his brothers who don't recognize him, and he's like holding all this stuff in, and he knows his truth, and he was asking about his father and his brother and all this stuff. Man, it was just breaking my heart. I was literally tearing up, like just listening to this story, because it's such the Old Testament stories particularly. They're such stories of family, people, and family, and just some very screwed up family dynamics. But like how a guy like Joseph, who is completely betrayed by all of his brothers, and then the prophecies are all fulfilled, that he is brought up to this level of where everyone in his family is bowing down to him, and he's just holding it in. He's like playing these tricks on his brothers because he wants to see. I guess he wants to see his dad. He wants to try to force them to bring his father to them, or something. But he doesn't want to get to the point where, because like it was, who was it? Reuben. I think it was Reuben was um, saying like, that he was going to keep Benjamin, right, which is his brother from his same mother, and the most important child to Israel, Jacob, and and like finally he's like, I'm gonna keep Benjamin. You go back and or get your dad, and the I think it was Reuben. He's just like, just take me. You know, it's like if anything happens to Benjamin, my our father will just die from grief. And oh my gosh, the tears. I was like, this is so like it's so real and painful, and I don't know, man. He could say that he had a bizarre gardening accident. What? This is out of left field, but how can you tell when someone has hair plugs or not? Are you insinuating something about my hair, Andrew? How dare you? How dare you? I heard that Sleepy Joe either had hair plugs or had a hair transplant. It interests me as a man who has a full head of hair. Well, I think modern hair plugs you really probably can't tell, but like in the old days when Joe Biden did it, it looked like a doll's hair. Like they'd put in little tufts of hair, which weird, weird. But I think nowadays they can do like one hair follicle at a time or something. I think that it's just getting well, yeah, that's way out of left field, man. We're sitting here trying to talk about the Bible, and you want to talk about hair plugs? Come on, come on. All right. So, anyways, yeah, back to this. So when David, you know, David's son is killed, it's like, wow, you had the perfect opportunity. God delivered Absalom up in a tree. You could have just tied him up, chopped his hair off, shaved his beard, shamed him to no end for what he had done, and not killed the king's son, and not broken David's heart. And Joab, freaking Joab, man. Every time I see this guy's name in the Bible, I'm like, this guy's such a jerk. This guy's like, he caused. Do you remember way back in the beginning? It was like there was like peace between the kingdoms, and like there was like a party of David's men, and then a party of Israel. I forget who the king was at the time. Who was it? Was it Saul? Was it Saul's men? And they're all just chilling at like this pool, at this pond, basically. And Joab's like, get him! He just started a fight and like started this whole freaking. It's like it's just constantly. This was like I think Joab is the curse that that God sent unto David's household because he was such a bloody man. Yeah. Make him wear sackcloth and have him walk the streets in front. Yeah, right? There's so much you could have done without killing the king's son. I was kind of interested in the hair plug rabbit. Arlene, stop. Must be rough to have your family drama recorded for all to read for all time. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I think of Job, right? And I think, how many lives has the story of Job changed in all of history, right? How many how many how many lives has he saved, right? Like someone's going just through all this desperation in their own lives, and then like they read the book of Job and they're like, well, I ain't that bad off, right? And I think about it. It's like, would you go through, if you had known, if you were Job or in some similar situation, and you had known what a phenomenal blessing your story would be to countless people over the span of the generations and the thousands of years, would you voluntarily go through what Job went through, right? Because everybody, it's always like nobody's ever had it as bad as Job, right? Would you voluntarily do that, knowing the blessing your life would be to perfect strangers for thousands of years and countless generations? It's an interesting self reflective question, right? How many smart people lives have been saved reading Ecclesiastes? Middle Earth says, I don't know if I could make it through that, right, Edwin? It's a hard question, huh? It's like a hard question because, frankly, Job had it worse off than Christ, right? Christ had he was crucified. I mean, okay, spiritually, obviously, separation from God for the first time in eternity. Obviously, that's a totally different thing. But physically, Job had it worse than Christ. But he came through it because he wouldn't let Satan take his life, and then he blessed him afterwards. Just kind of as he could have just let him die, and the story would have probably been, as power, just the same thing. But would I willingly go through that? Heck no. Could I be a man of God? Trust to go through that? That's a goal. Yeah. It's hard, huh? It's a hard question. Willingly, because Christ willingly went through what he went through. Job was like just trusting God this whole time. And then, and then how long was Job in that state? I don't remember. Somebody could look it up. Edwin, can you look that up real quick? It's a hard Job. No, Job. No. That's why God didn't give Job the choice. Yeah. And I always marvel that that Job did everything right until he said, "Why? Why are you doing this to me, God?" Right? And to me, that's kind of the this lesson on the fruitlessness of asking why God. Right? That's the lesson to me from Job, and maybe it's not the lesson everybody gets from it, but why? You're not gonna get the answer until we're on the other side of eternity and we see the map of our existence and how every little butterfly affected this timeline and these people. And like some kid picks up a Bible like from a street vendor, reads it for the first time, becomes saved, leads like Franklin Graham to Christ, and then Franklin Graham's ministry touches countless millions of people. It's like the little things, the little whatever it was that might have led that kid to finding that Bible, to whatever it was. It could have been the worst. His parents could have just been crushed in a steamroller accident, and he was searching for purpose, and so he buys a Bible. Right? It's the why gods. It's like you're never gonna know. Why was my nephew killed at 14 years old? You're never gonna know until we're on the other side of all of it. Why did my letterer just die from? You're never gonna know. Which is kind of the point. A human response versus a divine purpose. Bible street vendor. I'm making this story up, Joe. I don't know the guy that 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 brought Billy Graham to Christ. So this is a parable. I'm being parabolic, all right? Honestly, it seems like a completely human response to ask why. True. But that's the thing. We're supposed to faith isn't a human response. I don't know if that's the right way to word it, right? Faith is a divine response. And when confronted by very real tragedy, the goal, I think, is to have a divine response of faith, of trust that whatever God's purpose is in this, you trust the scripture when it says all, 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 all things are. Oh my gosh, I totally forget the scripture. All things are good for those who are the called of Christ. Is that right? All things are good for those who are the call. Is it the called of Christ? Oh my gosh. Somebody knows the scripture. I try to remember the scripture about not leaning to our own. Right. Um, in all our ways acknowledge him, and he shall guide our paths. I asked God why babies are aborted. Why do they have to die? He's our father. Aren't we allowed to ask? You're not going to get the answer. You're not going to get the answer. And seeking for an answer that you're not going to get, I think, can lead to a loss of faith, right? Rather than resting in your faith that there is a divine purpose, just like the Joseph story. What you meant for evil, God meant for good. God can redeem anything, any evil action. God redeemed the Holocaust by birthing the nation of Israel. So I think that's the thing, is when you start to question things that can't be answered on this side of reality, that can lead to a loss of faith, because it is your faith that should be the answer in and of itself, right? Um, I'd say we are allowed to ask, but it might not be the best thing to blame him for tragedies like that. Well, again, we have this wonderful, 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 horrible, horrible, horrible thing called free will. And pretty much every horrible thing, the most horrible things, and I'm not talking about accidents like some volcano erupting and your house getting wiped out, but the most horrible things on earth that happen because of free will. And the greatest, most wonderful things that happen on earth happen because of free will. It is God's gift to us to determine how we live our lives and how we treat each other, right? And how are we to do that? Love God and love our neighbors as ourselves. All of the law and the prophets are boiled up in those two. I think this has been a good episode. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hands. God's plan was for us to walk in direct fellowship with him in Eden. We opted out of that plan. And unfortunately, we opt out of it every day. The important part is to opt back in as often as possible. Um, Arlene says, I had to hold tight to the belief that God didn't make me a paraplegic and that he would use it for good. If I had started asking the whys, I would have lost my faith. Amen. Amen, Arlene. Actually, we were just watching the Johnny Erickson Tata story. Um, very, very powerful stuff. Powerful. I didn't know you were paraplegic, Arlene. Um, what I'd love to hear your testimony. It's funny to think I'd have any questions for God. Honestly, the thought of being before Him is both exciting and terrifying. Yes, 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 indeed. Amen. Good show today. Got to run. All right, Roscoe. Thanks for being here, buddy. Uh, anyways, I think we should wrap it up. Cut it a little short. I think that was a pretty good little sermonette. I just kind of was good because I was like praying God. I'm like, God, just let it go. Let me speak your truth. I think we got away there. I'm all the way in Nehemiah. All right, Andrew. You know what? Leave me alone. I can only do what I can do. All right, I grant you, I could have done more. I could have been on cross examinations this entire time since my mom went to the hospital somehow or another, and I didn't, and I dropped the ball. And now you're all the way in Nehemiah, and look at me. So you sound like you are breathing well. Yes, dude, I took my oxygen today. I was at 95, and I think that thing's off by a couple, so I might have been up to 97. So, and yesterday. I walked down the hill a few houses, trying to rebuild up my lungs so that I don't have to have this shortness of breath for very long. So, all right, have a good one, everybody. God bless. Thanks, Mike. I needed the fellowship. I'm here for you, buddy. No, that's not why I bragged about it. Wait, what? Oh, dropped the blue ball. All right, blue ball coming in. Mike going out. God bless you all for being here. Thank you for being part of this fellowship and sticking with us. Um, this is the first time I've read the Bible in a year. Hey, Andrew, come on. What? All right, God bless you guys. I love you. Peace out.